I'm childhood psychologist Dr. Audrey Tang, and this is my point of view on domestic violence. Now, starting the week 30th of March 2020, the beginning of lockdown, compared with the week before, the helpline Respect had a 26.86% increase in the number of calls, and its website had an increase in hits of 125%. The Domestic Violence Committee in their meeting stated that they know this area is terribly underfunded and it's only been made worse by the pandemic. Even outside the situation, survivors of domestic abuse, which can be psychological and physical, face continued challenges, including difficulty adjusting to being back in a safe environment, and if they have children too, the problems can be magnified.
I was introduced to the person at the age of 15. At the time, I was told that he was a friend of the family, and so instantly there was trust there. I was there. It wasn't just me. There was my sister and his daughter, and we were out on a balcony and looking up at the stars. It was a beautiful, clear evening, and I was pointing out different star constellations to her, and it was just, one of those moments where, I love children, always have done, and I was just bonding with this little girl, and she was really lovely. He then went off and had a conversation with my parent, and we were all just having a laugh and a good evening, and then it was proposed to me that would I like to babysit his daughter, and I'd got on really well with her and I didn't see a reason why I shouldn't. So it was suggested that I go that evening to his place, where it was arranged that I would sleep in the same room as his little girl, give us a chance to bond, and see if we got on well.
It can be worse if there's already a power difference, such as age, within that relationship.
And then we get to his house, and all of a sudden the arrangement that had been made started to change quite quickly. So it's bedtime, I'm helping her get ready for bed, and she's all excited, and I'm just about to climb into the room and, lay down and go to sleep, when he automatically then says that I need to go in his room. And I instantly think, well, this isn't what's been arranged. And, alarm bells go off a bit, but I don't want to be rude. I've been brought up to be polite and, look after, do as I'm told. And so despite feeling uncomfortable, I do. I go into his room, and it was just bizarre. I don't know, I was just so shy and taken aback, but I didn't want to appear rude.
The ways in which domestic abuse occurs, which can be, as I say, physical attacks, can also include control using power and control using weakness. Control using power is colloquially known as gaslighting, and this can include behaviours such as projecting behaviours onto the abused. So telling them things like, are you questioning me? Why are you always making such a big deal about things? They can include making the abused feel they're always in the wrong. It's you who thinks that. It's you who's always saying that. It may even include blatant lying and making the abused think that they actually misread or misunderstood the situation. And it will most likely involve isolating the abused from their friends and family.
And it escalated from there. Slowly it went from working weekends, only going on the weekends, to slowly becoming living there practically. He's then telling me what I can wear, what I can't wear, what to eat, what not to eat, what to drink, what not to drink. My whole life is practically dictated by this one person.
If you feel that you are walking on eggshells, if you feel that you can't quite do anything right, start keeping a diary. You may be in the midst of psychological abuse.
it's hard. Like, I hid it for so long, and then the minute I spoke to my best friend's parents about it, it was like a new door had opened. And yeah, it was like a total new chapter, and I think you've got to see it that way.
Similarly, when it comes to abuse through weakness, again, it is very much a case of messing with your mind and messing with your thinking.
I'm sorry for being sorry. I'm sorry for compromising my own values to make you feel better about the fact that you had none. I'm sorry for being in denial about the fact that you had been unfaithful. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry for bargaining our relationship and trying to cut you a deal that would cement over your deceit and instead keep us going. I'm sorry for believing that you didn't mean it and that it was just an oversight on your part. I'm sorry for thinking she meant nothing to you, and that if she knew how much she'd broken my spirit, she would apologize and disappear. I'm sorry for checking in with you to make sure you were okay. I'm sorry for trying to find a rational explanation as to why you would do that to me.
And what this does is this plays on our sense of compassion, our sense of wanting to help, our sense of wanting to support. And before we realise it, it's like a frog in boiling water. If it's a slow burn, that frog doesn't realise until it's too late.
I'm sorry you convinced me that my suspicions and distrust were all in my head, a result of past betrayals that I was dangerously seeping into our relationship. I'm sorry that you let me pursue 6 months of therapy to dispel those demons, which turned out to be my gut feeling telling me that you were up to no good. I'm sorry that you will never read this, whilst knowing you will also never deserve to either. I'm sorry to myself for never believing myself, for not trusting myself and all the second guessing. I'm sorry to myself for being sorry.
It's right that the last word today comes from blogger and domestic abuse survivor and advocate who wishes to be known by her blog name, Airing Her 30 Laundry. She's a successful business owner, a mother of 2, and she was abused for 13 years. And only in the last 4 did anyone close to her know about it. So good are we at being able to cover up what's going on behind closed doors. She gives these words of advice. I'm no expert, although I know many, and I can only go on experience. But for those of you suspecting you may be in an abusive relationship, here's what I would have done had I known. Number 1, keep a diary. I only did this at the very end, and this is where my blog started. Keep it for your records. You might need it, and also for your sanity, where you will need it. Speak to Women's Aid, Refuge, or Safer Places. All of them have free helplines. Save some money in an account that isn't a joint account. Legal aid is very hard to get. I fought nail and tooth to get me to court once, and luckily that was all I needed. Don't be afraid to tell friends and family. You may have already been isolated, but this is the time that you are going to need them. You will need someone to hold you up whilst you repair. And finally, take time to heal. It is important to remember that when you are dealing with domestic abuse, you're often dealing with somebody with whom you have a relationship, with whom you share a history. There's a multitude of deep emotions. It is not an easy task. Be strong. I'm childhood psychologist Dr. Audrey Tang, and that is my point.